Hi, I'm Sandra. I facilitate the memoir writing for seniors program at the Powell River Public Library. And today I'm reading a short memoir by Kathy Bennett. It was published in the ebook Tricky, a memoir anthology in 2018. And Kathy's story is called Fun-O-Rama. When my brother Paul and I got off the school bus that spring day in 1961, it seemed like any other day, but it wasn't. I was 8 years old, Paul was 6. When we walked into our house, we saw our parents wrestling with what looked like a large piece of furniture, and about the size of an easy chair, but it wasn't. It was our first television set. A few of the kids at school had televisions, TVs for short, and they talked non-stop about Fun-O-Rama. I never thought our family would ever get a TV, but there, right in front of us, were our parents setting one up in the living room. We were so excited to watch TV, but our after-school job was to get our cow home from the neighbor's field for milking. We didn't want to miss anything, but off we went. It didn't help that the neighbors had 30 or so acres of fields dotted with swamps, a creek, and bushes. The cow could be anywhere. After cursory search for her, Paul and I gave up and ran back home. Dad and Mom were still fussing over the TV set and getting annoyed with each other as they struggled with wires and plugs. We were sent back out again to look for the cow, whining and complaining, which seemed to add to their frustration. Eventually, the cow was found, brought home, and milked, but the TV was still not working right. The screen was filled with gray static. What was wrong? Nobody seemed to know. Supper was eaten in a tense and gloomy silence. A few days later, Dad chopped down a tall sapling, trimmed off the branches, and skinned the tree to make a pole. He attached it to the side of the house where it stretched above the roof line with an antenna on top that spread its wide metal arms into the air. While Dad was on the roof adjusting the antenna, Paul and I sat transfixed in front of the TV, willing it to do something. Mom was stationed in the kitchen doorway. Dad would call to Mom, "Do the kids see anything?" And Mom would ask us, "Do you see anything yet?" And we'd shake our heads and answer, "No." And Mom would call back to Dad, "Not yet." And Dad would fiddle some more. This went on for some time, until suddenly a picture appeared. It was a miracle. We screamed, "Yes, we see something!" Dad scrambled down off the roof, and together we all stared at the scene on the TV. And so began our new lifestyle. But it was a tricky thing watching TV. Whenever we had a windstorm, the antenna would get buffeted and the TV screen would go fuzzy with static. Someone would have to go outside and turn the pole, while someone else stood at the kitchen door relaying the messages back and forth. Sometimes this process was necessary 2 or 3 times during the course of a half-hour show. It wasn't just windstorms that made watching a TV show tricky. Quite frequently, for no reason that anyone could fathom, the top half of the picture would ever so slowly roll up. And as the top half of the picture disappeared off the screen, the bottom half of the picture, in pursuit, a horizontal line would appear as if to underline the picture frame. Eventually, the top half of the picture would reappear again, but coming up from the bottom. This flipping would gain momentum and it would roll faster and faster until it became too difficult to watch the show. Fortunately, the TV had a knob that helped adjust this, and so we'd fiddle with that knob. We'd make the screen flip really, really fast, as if to get this problem cleared out. Then we'd carefully make the flipping slow right down and then stop. Sometimes this worked. Sometimes it didn't. Sometimes we'd reverse the flipping. Instead of picture frames going up, we'd turn the knob so that the flipping would go down really, really fast, hoping that would clear it out. Sometimes that worked. Sometimes it didn't. In the early days, we only had one channel, channel 12. In later years, Dad rigged up 4 homemade wooden poles on the lawn that were connected with a wire. Another wire stretched to the house. That particular antenna brought in channel 6. We don't need any more channels, Dad said. You can only watch one at a time. And that was that. We were happy. Fun-O-Rama came into our lives, along with the Ed Sullivan Show, the Honeymooners, Mr. Ed, Gunsmoke, and many more, providing, of course, that the cow was brought home first. That was Fun-O-Rama by Kathy Bennett. Kathy now prefers to read a good book as opposed to watching TV, and she also enjoys writing her memoirs to one day pass along to her great-grandchildren. Thanks for sharing with me today. Have a good rest of the day.